So more headaches for Democrats tonight as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer vows to force that vote on the filibuster, while Senator Joe Manchin says tonight he's not budging. Spring and Fox News contributors Leslie Marshall and Jason Chaffetz. Great to have you both back.
Hi, Shannon.
All right, I want to play the latest that we have from Senator Joe Manchin earlier this evening. The latest from him.
The majority of my colleagues in the caucus, Democrat caucus, they've changed. They've changed their mind. I respect that. You have a right to change your mind. I haven't. I hope they respect that too. I've never changed my mind on the filibuster.
So, Jason, what is the play here? Joe Manchin's not moving.
He's not moving. Look, so many of these Democrats just last year and 2 years ago vowed never to change the filibuster. It's only now that they want to try to slam something through that's controversial. And look, they're going to waste a week doing it. On the other hand, I will tell you, I think it's great that the House and the Senate vote. I don't think there's a problem with voting. Even if it fails, I think the House and Senate should vote more often, not less often. He's right. Put it on the record. Show where everybody is. But I think it's also going to expose a couple other Democrats who don't want to take this vote because they actually secretly have relied on Manchin and Sinema, and they don't want to see a change to the filibuster.
What about that, Leslie? Because, listen, we hear plenty of chatter about some specific members over there on Capitol Hill here in Washington who are kind of hiding behind Senators Manchin and Sinema, so they don't have to go on the record and make a vote on this.
Well, I'll say, Jason, I agree rarely, but I would agree with him that you need to have a vote. But what you really should have, and what Senator Schumer has and any political party has, especially in power, within their power, is to allow a debate, even if it goes on for months. If you have a floor debate, at the end of that, you don't need 60, you need 51 votes. And when you put people on the floor debating, and also when you force them to vote, you are letting the public see, how does this one vote? How does that one vote? And we've known in the past that we've seen some people, some mavericks on the right and some mavericks on the left, break ranks with their party and vote with the other party after a lot of debate, especially because they know perhaps that their constituency want this. Joe Manchin's constituency, coal miners and those unions have told him, we want you to support voting rights. We want you to pass this legislation. They also wanted him to pass Build Back Better.
Well, there was some polling out of West Virginia that showed some of those ideas weren't so popular. And, Jason, you know, Senator Manchin's like, if I can't explain it at home, I'm not voting for it. But if, as Leslie said, they did mount an effort to just have this talking and, you know, carrying on for weeks or months at a time, do you think Republicans would take that challenge? And how do you think that would play out for the midterms?
No, I don't. Look, the problem with taking on the vote the way Schumer's laid this out is they're ignoring immigration, inflation, all these other problems that the country really sees, really wants to have addressed. Those are the ones that go to the wayside. That's what America sees, and that's why I think they're going to flush out the Democrats in 2022 in both the House and the Senate.
Well, Politico writes to that point. It says the GOP takes a potent but risky new path hitting Biden on COVID. It says despite their members' growing anti-lockdown and anti-mandate rhetoric, House Republicans say they can fold a cogent critique of Biden's handling of COVID into a broader case that he's failed to deliver alongside soaring inflation, the chaotic U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan, and a rise in illegal southern border crossings. Leslie, that's from one side. The other side of the progressives in the further left who are also really mad with Biden, thinks he hasn't delivered. How does all of that stew together for what is historically not a good election for the president in power?
Well, there are three ways, if you look historically at midterm elections, on how they're determined. First is the president's approval ratings, which are not good for the president right now. No. So right now it would look like the Democrats would lose the House, worst case scenario, approximately 39 seats. But a couple of other things. If you look at the congressional generic poll, those ballot polls that are held, I know NBC said that Democrats take a shellacking, but actually 2 weeks ago, Democrats had an advantage in 39% over Republicans 37%. And when you look at the cross-section of all the congressional generic ballot polls right now, the Republicans are only up 0.5. And that's not the kind of numbers you saw Democrats have in 2018. Let's also look at special elections. Right now, Democrats have overperformed in 3 of their special elections that have been out there, Republicans 2. We have a couple to look at in Florida, the 20th, and in California, the 22nd. Those, I think, will be telling as to, how bad it could be. Will it be a shellacking for the Democrats? Or maybe will there be some surprises, and will the Democrats be able to hold on to the Senate?
Well, one of the areas where the president is polling, and not in a positive way for him, he's underwater on COVID now, and that number has shifted down for him steadily over the last several months. I want to play a little bit of what he said then and what he's saying now on testing and trying to handle this issue.
I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing. I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
Now, we've talked about tests a lot. 0 on the market a year ago. Now we have 375 million people per month, or tests are distributed, I should say, per month. This is progress that's been made.
So, Jason, he promised a lot on COVID, and listen, the country is desperate. The world is desperate for those answers. But a quick final word from you on whether he overpromised and that's going to cost him.
Well, in July, he basically said, hey, this thing is going to be over. And I think the world understands when you walk into your local pharmacy, you're not going to be able to go out and find the test that you should have had months and months ago. Even the president said, whoops, I should have thought about this earlier. It's not good for the president here. He totally botched this.
Well, the federal government's website on tests is now live. I know at least one of our producers has been able to navigate that and make the requests. So we will see how quickly they show up. And certainly for those who need them most around the country, we hope they'll get there first. Leslie, Jason, thank you both very much.
Thank you.
Shannon.